Hi everyone and welcome to today's video. This is a B2-level ESL lesson, and today we're going to be talking about using the word could to talk about future possibilities. So a public park often contains many things for the enjoyment of the people who use the park. So Central Park in Manhattan is one of the most famous public parks. So who visits the park? And what do people do here? So here are different parts of Central Park. Let's see if you can name some of the things that you see in the picture. And if you'd like to share your ideas, you can type those in the comments. Now, once you build a facility, you have to maintain it so that people can continue to use and enjoy it. Maintenance workers ensure that equipment is kept clean and working. Sometimes an upgrade is needed, especially for older or heavily used facilities. From time to time, people use a facility so much that it needs to be refurbished or renovated. And when a facility can no longer be used, it may be removed and replaced. So imagine that you live in Collington, you work as a town planner, and you have funds to spend on upgrading the town's park. So Duke says, how about refurbishing the park's cafe? It looks like something from the 1970s. Zumra says, you could renovate the fountain and the children's pool. They are used heavily in the summer. And Iker says, add more seats, benches, places to sit on, and so on, especially in the shade. Now, a town planner is talking with an architect. So you're going to listen to what order do they mention these things.
We just got funding approved for an upgrade to the public park in the center of town.
That's great news. What has the town decided to do?
Well, we know that we definitely want to remove the signage, repaint all the park benches, and so on. In addition to that basic cleanup, we're debating some other improvements. We've been taking input from town members. We've received some great suggestions.
Like what?
Well, we want to plant some more trees, but a town member suggested building a community garden.
That's a nice idea. We could put a public garden in the back of the park where members of the community can grow their own fruit and vegetables.
That's a great idea. It would be a nice community project. I know I'd love to grow some tomatoes, but I don't have space in my yard. One person suggested adding a greenhouse, but I don't know if that would be possible.
I don't think that would work. We'd need some more space for that. What other suggestions did you get?
Right, so the order that they mentioned them in, removing the signage was first, then repainting the park benches, planting some trees, building a community garden, and adding a greenhouse. A community garden, also called an allotment, is a garden in a public space that belongs to people living in the neighborhood. Vegetables are grown in plots. People often work on a roster basis to take care of the garden. Community gardens are found in places where people don't have back gardens, and these gardens are often used to educate children about horticulture or growing food. So is there a community garden in your neighborhood? And if there is, you can share some details about it in the comments. All right, we're going to listen again, and this time you can read along.
We just got funding approved for an upgrade to the public park in the center of town.
That's great news. What has the town decided to do?
Well, we know that we definitely want to remove the signage, repaint all the park benches, and so on. In addition to that basic cleanup, we're debating some other improvements. We've been taking input from town members. We've received some great suggestions.
Like what?
Well, we want to plant some more trees, but a town member suggested building a community garden.
That's a nice idea. We could put a public garden in the back of the park where members of the community can grow their own fruit and vegetables.
That's a great idea. It would be a nice community project. I know I'd love to grow some tomatoes, but I don't have space in my yard. One person suggested adding a greenhouse, but I don't know if that would be possible.
I don't think that would work. We'd need some more space for that. What other suggestions did you get?
Right, so next we're going to talk about language to talk about suggestions. We use suggest plus a verb ending in ing, and we also use could to show a future possibility. So make some suggestions using the example to help you. What could we do? Well, I suggest removing the old playground. We could put a skate park here instead. And then you can make some suggestions using these ideas and the sentence structure that we talked about. And feel free to type your sentences in the comments. All right, now we're going to listen to the next part of the conversation between the town planner and the architect, and then you can answer the questions.
What other suggestions did you get?
Some people want a children's playground.
How about a nature playground?
What's that?
It's a place for children to play with natural elements like sand, wood, water, and plants.
Oh, yes. I've seen something sort of similar to that before. I'll suggest it to the town board. It's worth considering.
Yeah, people often like them because they blend into nature more and don't stand out as much as other playgrounds.
One town member suggested adding an outdoor gym where people can go to work out.
These are great ideas. It could be so much nicer if you add any of these.
I agree. We'll have to estimate the costs and then take a town vote before making a decision.
Okay, so what kind of playground does the architect suggest building? A nature playground. What elements does the architect mention that children can play with? Sand, wood, water, and plants. According to the architect, why do people like this kind of playground? Because they blend into nature more. What suggestion does the town planner provide? Adding an outdoor gym where people could work out. And what two things do they need to do before making a decision? Estimate the costs and take a town vote. So the town of Carlovan has received funding to improve facilities. What kind of town is Carlovan? Where is it? And think about the people who live here and what kind of jobs that they do. What kinds of things are important to people who live here? So maybe just you can type your ideas in the comments based on the picture. So Carlovan is an isolated mining town. Many of the people who live here come from other parts of the country. When the council surveyed the residents, these are the suggestions they received. How about a community center? Could we install a shark net at the beach? It's too dangerous to swim. We need somewhere to exercise. A gym would be great. There's nowhere to sit and relax. We don't even have a park. So think about each of these suggestions and make some notes. So will it be easy to build and maintain? Will a lot of residents benefit from it? Will it last a long time? Why is it a good option? And are there any disadvantages? So again, you can put your notes in the comments about each of these suggestions. All All right, so you're in the town meeting to discuss the suggestions. Be prepared to give details to support your idea, explain why it is the best suggestion, talk about who will benefit from it, and explain how it will be maintained. And so here are some suggestions as far as the sentence structure. Now take a few moments to make some notes about your own neighborhood. First, think about the residents. Are there a lot of elderly people? Are there a lot of children? Do people live in apartments? Is there too much traffic? Is it a safe neighborhood? And are there some existing facilities that could be upgraded? And then think of 5 different projects that would be good for your neighborhood. So you're at the town meeting, give your suggestions and be prepared to defend your idea. And you can write some small conversations about what you think would be the best projects for your own neighborhood. And that brings us to the end of today's video. Please like, subscribe, share, participate in the comments, and I will see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.